Alright, we have the green bars, we have the live counter ticking up, so we should now be live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Storytime Network. Today, bit different from our usual schedule, but we are doing the Yuri Manga sampler once again. Joining me for this endeavor is, of course, the eminent Lord of Lore. So,
Good to be back.
this has been a rather interesting and eclectic collection of
Yeah, certainly.
manga.
Um, yeah. I mean, I say this every year and I'll say it again. We are not talking about representation because neither of one of us is qualified to do so.
No.
We just take this as stories. Also, I think at least like three of the things on our list this year we basically can't talk about without spoiling them. So I
Oh,
just
yeah.
issue a general spoiler warning. I will not worry about spoilers when I talk about things today. It's
Oh, no, I
yeah,
100% agree. That's why I stuck spoiler warning in a corner over there.
yeah, very good.
But yes, without further ado, let's start with probably the horniest title on the list. Breasts are my favorite things in the world.
I agree. Which title are we starting with?
Yes. Uh,
No.
so yeah, though this one is the most unabashedly horny title on the
Yeah,
list.
I think this one very much speaks for itself. Like it's primarily really a gag manga, and it tells you what it does in the title, and
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah. It is primarily just girls ogling each other's breasts and fondling each other's
Yeah,
breasts
yeah,
and blushing over it.
yeah. That's the thing. The weird thing about it, like for what it is weirdly asexual. Like
There's not much in the way of
it's
like
obviously
actual sex in it.
yeah, like the breast fondling is not sexual for like the first two-thirds at least,
Yeah.
basically up until the final few chapters. So that's like the weird thing about it. Like it has this gimmick and that's what it hangs on, but at the same time it's just a gag manga that is also very not safe for work.
Oh, it is extremely unsafe for work.
Yeah.
Do not read this
I
in
mean
front.
obviously.
Yeah, do not read this in public.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Like there's a little more going on than nothing. Like there's character development and the cast expands over the run of it, but primarily it's you get what you pay for.
yeah. I mean, yeah, no, the primary focus of the manga is on Chiaki and Hana's relationship. Uh,
Yes.
it was pretty funny that turns out that Chiaki was the bottom all along. Who knew?
Yeah. Yeah. That's like the third act twist.
Yeah, but yes, still really funny gag manga. A lot of I do think the development of like the different side characters is kind of a little bit undercooked, but it is
Just there
primarily a
for
gag manga, so
yeah, that's always the lens you have to view this through. Like this is not uh like some other things we're going to talk about. Like this is not about fleshing out all these characters and building them up as believable people. No, this is purely about delivering horny jokes,
yeah,
and
it
it
is.
does that very well. Like it's a fun read, but it's not nothing beyond that. To be
It is
perfectly honest.
intensely silly. It is a very light read. You
Yeah,
can get through it pretty quickly. It took me like maybe 3 hours to get through all 8 volumes tops.
yeah. It's a quick read. It's a fun read. It ended relatively recently, I think.
I think it ended like
Um,
a year and a half ago, something like
Yeah,
that.
I'm looking at it right now, August 2023. Oh, that's longer ago than I
Oh,
thought. Oh
almost
well.
2 full years. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's there's honestly not too much to say about it. Like I think it was decently popular when it came out, and since then nobody really talked about it because it is what it is. Like you hear
Yeah.
the title and you will either be interested in reading it and getting a few laughs out of it, or you're not, and that's fine too.
Yep. Yeah, it's again just mostly good for a lighthearted laugh, and like there is some fun stuff here and there, but it is overall at the end of the day just a silly gag manga.
I mean, I think it kind of I think we have a few trends this year, and I will mention them as they come up, and this introduces one of these
The
trends
surprise bottom,
in
yes.
in that it is no, also it's like a Yuri manga that is not really about the romance. Like there's a romance
Yes.
element to it, but that's not like you can't, or you can, but you shouldn't come in reading it expecting like the standard romance tropes you expect from a normal, quote unquote normal. It doesn't even matter if it's Yuri or something else romance story. This is not what this is. This is a gag manga, and it happens to have Yuri content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is not the romance that is the draw here.
Exactly, exactly. And we have a few of those, I think, this year. At least one other one we'll definitely get to later.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, we're gonna have fun here. Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
but we should move on to our first carryover from last year, which is
Let's do that.
the guy she was interested wasn't a guy at
Yes.
all. Or Green Yuri, as we will refer to it
Yeah.
henceforth for brevity's sake.
Exactly. I think the biggest thing about this one is that it's getting an anime adaptation, and I honestly never thought that would happen because the music licensing must be
Oh, it'll be hell.
insane for this.
It will be absolute hell.
Yeah. But I think like about half a year ago or something, like a few months before they announced the anime, they did like a soundtrack album. And when I saw that, I was like, "Oh shit.
They're
Someone's
putting
putting money into this."
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
it's
let's
gonna
go.
happen.
To be fair, this
Yeah.
manga is a bona fide hit, so
Yeah, absolutely. It's insanely popular. So like I'm happy they're doing it. As always, I'm careful with rooting. Like I root for the adaptation, but I'm careful with being a fan of an adaptation before I've seen it because
yeah, look, we got burned last
sometimes
year.
adaptations are just bad.
We got really
Um,
burned last
but
year. We won't talk about that
yeah,
one though.
no, we will talk about that at some other time. But not even just that. Like sometimes things just don't carry over. Like
Hmm.
to step out of today's general topic, like I personally didn't really vibe with the Komi Can't Communicate anime, and I love the manga, but I just thought it didn't really carry over from page to screen. So
Hmm.
always got to be careful with adaptation, but at the same time, I'm happy it's getting the attention. It certainly deserves it. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Uh,
And there's a lot of stuff that's happened in the past year
yes,
of content. I mean, there was a hiatus,
absolutely.
but oh, we got
Yeah,
them officially hooking up, which was great.
yeah, that was very well executed. I think that's the thing. Like this, as opposed to rest of my favorite thing in the world. This one is all about the characters, right? Like it's all about the characters developing into different people and developing together into people who are and can be together, and it does that very very well. Like it still has a pretty limited cast, but that's a good thing because that means it can focus on what and who it's really about.
Yeah, it's pretty much exclusively, well, not exclusively, but like the main thrust of the focus is on the two leads. Like
Yeah, exactly.
there is a little bit of focus on, say, Kana and Joe, for example, or there's also some stuff with Narita, but the
Yeah, but
primary
it's
thrust of the
basic.
narrative is Aya and Mitsuki.
Exactly. It so far hasn't done the thing where it like takes 5 chapters to be about something else entirely.
Yeah, yeah. Oh boy, there's a
And
lot. That's like so many Yuri manga.
yeah, that's all of them. No, but I think what's really interesting for me currently is one, just the way they are depicted as a couple is I think not quite usual for this type of story. Like they like very very casual PDA and stuff, and that's just not very common in Japanese media in general.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also like they are actually moving forward. Like they are not staying high school students. They are
Yeah.
working on what comes next, and I think that is interesting because that too is a thing that isn't like not like this usually done. Usually it's done as this thing like okay, but when high school ends, it all ends, and I could actually see this manga moving forward. I don't know if it will, but the way it is set out right
Yeah.
now, I could see it happen.
Like
That would be cool.
I was worried at one point that they were just going to straight up end it after the kiss and confessions. Like, no, this is
It's
better
like,
than that.
yeah, I had the same thought where it's like, okay, they're doing the prom, and we've all seen this movie, right? Like it ends with the prom, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's moving forward, and as it is set up right now, it seems to be moving forward for a while. So
Yeah.
I'm honestly curious to see where it goes, because not because I can't see where it goes, but I can't see how long it's gonna go on, and I think that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's very nice to be able to think, I am along with this one for the ride, and I
Yeah,
am looking forward to wherever it winds up, as long as it
yeah,
keeps
maybe
its energy up.
maybe it ends when they graduate school, maybe it goes on into university, whatever. Like I'm curious to see.
Yeah, there's a lot a lot of stuff that I could potentially cover. Like it could even do the whole Kaze-san thing of them just like following them into
Yeah,
college.
just keeping forward. Yeah, I mean, there will be probably some, and I mean, we've all seen this. This is not like reinventing the wheel. There will be some thing where they realize they want to do different things in life, because like Koga is probably gonna pursue her music career in some way, and Osawa's not gonna be. But like that's plot beats they can do, and they can do these plot beats to get deeper into the characters. So I'm really curious to see
Hmm.
how far we're gonna follow them.
As am I. There's a lot of stuff that they can do, and as long as they keep up the energy they have, and as long as they
Yeah.
at least occasionally evolve the side characters here and there,
Yeah.
I think I'll be happy with it. Like,
Absolutely. I mean, they could also just say we're gonna do one more volume and then we're done. Like, I would also be cool with that, because it's a good story.
mhm.
That's what's interesting to me. Like,
I mean,
I just can't see what the trajectory is.
yeah, as long as they can end the story on their terms, I think that's
Exactly.
more than fine.
Exactly.
But yeah, should probably move on to the first well, not one volume, but two volumes series,
Yeah.
the shortest one so far. Uh Handsome Girl and Sheltered Girl.
Also known as the guy she was interested in wasn't a guy at all.
Look, I know there's a whole thing in Yuri manga about like androgyny and stuff like that,
Yeah,
but
but no, but this is literally the same premise.
no, it's even funnier because at the very end it's like, oh yeah, no, her brother is also super androgynous, and he
Yeah,
winds up
it's
getting a
just what
guy
the family
falling
looks
for
like.
her.
Yeah, yeah, it's just
That
definitely cursed.
that is a great
I
note to end on, though. That is hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, this one's actually older than the guy she was interested in. Wasn't a guy
Yes.
at all. But yeah, very very similar premise. Like they, except it moves a bit faster and is therefore a bit sillier. To be perfectly honest, like they basically start dating
At the start,
while
yeah.
Uguma. Yeah, they start dating in the first chapter, and Uguma believes Kanda to be a guy
Hmm.
because she's handsome. Like that's all. It's very superficial, but
Yeah.
not just like because she's handsome, and like everything she does just seems very masculine to Oguma.
Hmm.
And basically, for the first volume, it's almost more of a gag manga, because it keeps circling back to that thing. Like almost every chapter ends with
Yeah.
Kanda being, but like I'm a girl.
Yeah.
And I think that's my one
Gripe.
short and tiny gripe, that it takes so long to clear that up.
Hmm. Yeah, I do wish it
Uh,
got cleared up like early in volume 2 or late in volume 1
yeah,
rather than like the midpoint of volume 2.
yeah. Like it's not to the point that it's creepy, but it's just as it keeps going on, it starts becoming more and more silly, to the point that it's like, okay, yes.
Yeah. But no, they do resolve it, and
And I
would you
think I will say, I think the way they do resolve it is pretty well done. Like
Mhm.
they like it comes from the story. It's not a like, oh, by the way. Like no, it's actually a thing in the story.
Yeah, because Konda is like, I feel really shitty for like leading her on and not, communicating the truth to her.
Yeah,
So I'm going to
and
try. to do that.
basically, even when they hold hands, like every time anything that even comes close to physical intimacy is like Hunter's like, okay, shit, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
I need to clear this up. And then something silly happens, and she doesn't for 1.5 volumes. So yeah, that's like my tiny gripe, I think.
Yeah. But the would you say this is also the second occurrence of the surprise bottom trope?
Maybe a little bit, but
It's not to the same
not
degree
not
as our first
yeah,
instance.
not to the same degree. Um, I will say, but another one we're gonna talk about later is much worse about this. There's maybe a little bit of compat in here.
A little bit. It's not nearly that
Not too much,
bad though.
and and it's also like it's mentioned in the story. Like there's like when Oguma finds out Kanda's a girl, she's like, okay, but when we get married, who's gonna be the bride? Like what does that mean logistically? And that's also kind of how they resolve the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I again we have another one which I think is much worse about this. Uh, in this one, it's more of a. I wouldn't want to leave it unmentioned in case anyone reads this and goes like, "Hey, what is this? Why is this?"
It's kind of just a
But
one-off thing that also like
yeah, it's
you get a couple of pages at the end showing them both in suits and then both in dresses.
yeah, exactly. Like one of my favorite things in the printed volumes I have. There's like the afterword from the author and his or she they I don't know, and they are like, if you want to do fan art about this, please do. it's, like
Speaking of the
everything
author,
like
actually, Mochi Ala
yeah
does a lot of Yuri manga.
yeah they are pretty prolific.
hmm Primarily, like a lot of so Mochi Ala is a woman. Okay, cool.
Okay, I didn't know that, or I didn't look
Yeah.
that up actually.
But yeah, no, this one's still a really cute one. There's a lot of really fun bits and beats in it, and I do like that it does also take the time to mention like just because a woman is a sapphic doesn't mean she's automatically attracted to another woman, as seen with Okuma and her friend.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing to mention.
Yeah.
Also, another trend, like as I said today for me is much about trends, and another trend I keep seeing in Yuri manga, and I'm kind of curious, is it the same in boys love things, that they just ignore that there's not really gay marriage in Japan, like
I mean,
just not a thing.
it is kind of a
Everyone
downer thing to
always,
mention, especially in something as fluffy as this.
but it's not even that they don't mention it. They always like specifically go, yeah, we're gonna get married.
Again, it'd be kind of a downer thing to bring up, in
Yeah,
fairness.
but I think if you read something from like 5 or even 10 years ago, they'll just not talk about that. They're gonna say something like "We're gonna be together forever," but like the
No, no,
both
I
the
get.
term marriage and also the image of like a wedding and with wedding dress and stuff doesn't really come up. It's more like, yes, we are together, but what can you do? And and I mean back then I say it's not that long ago,
It's
but
like
like
10,
even
15 years ago, yeah.
yeah, I think Whispered Words even had a thing in the end where it specifically called out like we can't get married right now. One day we will, but right now it's not possible. And but now like almost almost everything we read this year, I think, has them just getting married at the end or
Either getting
promising to
married or
get married at
talking
the end
about getting married, yeah.
without even worrying about that. And also to be perfectly fair, looking from a very limited outside knowledge, Japan seems to be moving in the direction of allowing gay marriage, but
It
not
is
there yet.
likely to be one of the first Asian countries to recognize it, given
Yeah,
especially like the courts seem to be leaning that way.
yeah. It seems to be like the regional courts are basically saying, yeah, you got to do this. So yeah, just again a silly trend I'm seeing where things that weren't even mentioned some years ago now it's like no, it's happening.
Oh god, it's happening! It's finally happening! Everybody stay calm! Stay fucking calm!
Yeah.
But yeah, again, this one's a cute one. It's basically like a two-volume, quick quick read,
Yeah.
so nothing too
Again, quick read, fun characters,
mm-hmm.
basically no notes.
Mm-hmm. It's a good time. But yes. Should move on to something that's considerably more dramatic. I can't believe I slept with you.
Yeah.
So this one's an interesting one in a number of ways. One of
Yeah.
which is actually that the title in Japanese is different from the English title. So in Japanese, the actual title of the manga is, if I remember correctly, um, even if it happened once, I still regret it, which is also the title of, I think, like the second or third to last chapter, which is the
Yeah.
one where all the
Also,
reveals happen.
also the German title is like Bittersweet Regret. So,
Yeah, that seems to match up pretty well.
yeah, it's So this falls into two new categories I coined this year. One being cohabitation Yuri and the other being transactional Yuri.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had a bit of that this year.
Yeah. Uh, I'd say this is maybe at the beginning slightly toxic Yuri, but not
It is
really.
not
It's
the most toxic one
quite.
we're going to be covering this time.
Oh no, not at all. Um, no, I think the iffy one about this is the power. Like, there's a very clear power dynamic between the main characters that is unrelated to their relationship and therefore looms over the relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like there's also just like the inciting incident of it is like of dubious consent until we find out like of like the actual circumstances in the third volume behind
Yeah,
it.
and even then, like,
It's still iffy.
it's iffy. Yeah, maybe we should actually say what's it about.
So basically, the main character Chio is falling behind on her rent because she quit her job because of reasons. And in an alcohol-induced fugue, she winds up negotiating a deal with her landlady in which she does favors in order to pay off her rent. Uh,
Exactly.
and it's later revealed towards the end that the landlady was just going to leave it there and just like say, yeah, no, you can do like cleaning and stuff. After initially joking that the first favor would involve sex. Like, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna have you like clean and stuff.
It is definitely weakened throughout the whole thing, and the way their relationship progresses, it's fine. But it's an iffy starting point.
Oh,
Definitely,
absolutely.
like I can absolutely see someone reading this and being like, nope.
It will be a deal breaker for some people, and that
Yeah,
is
and
completely
that's fair.
fair. Like,
Absolutely.
there are a lot of Yuri manga that have like deal breaker premises. This is not
Yes.
nearly the worst one in my opinion, but it is like,
No, it's not even the worst one on this year's list.
oh yeah, I'm very curious. Oh, okay. Which one are you referring to specifically? I'm
We'll get
curious.
to it.
Okay. But yeah,
Oh, I mean, maybe it's the worst deal breaker premise, but it's by far not the most toxic one on this year's list.
oh no. Okay, that yeah, no, like premise wise, it's the most deal breaker, but like no, there's like
Yeah,
straight up like incest and cheating ones that are like no
yeah,
for a lot of people.
yeah. That's
This is nowhere near that.
no, not at all. Like, and I mean, it's honestly for that sounds so stupid, but for someone who is like well versed in anime, it's not even that weird. Like, it's
Nah, it's not. I wouldn't even say it cracks like the top 10 of anime bullshit
no, no,
weirdness.
no, no, no. Like, even in relationship dynamics, this is pretty tame, but it is something to be aware of if this is
Oh,
what you want to get
absolutely.
into.
Yes, it is definitely a premise to be mindful of for sure. But yes, I still think the story is overall pretty good. Um, the
Yeah, it goes it for what is a kind of silly premise. It goes surprisingly deep into the characters, I thought.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I do like that the characters have some pretty interesting motivations outside of like the relationship as well. Like their
Yeah,
actual
yeah,
motivations are
exactly.
not tied into the relationship at all, really.
No, they just happen to be in a relationship while dealing with their shit.
Exactly.
And I mean, it does that thing which will come up a few times because, again, transactional Yuri is one of my new categories where it's like they start as this, we're not really in a relationship thing, and of course, over the course of the story, they move into, no, no, we actually are in a relationship thing, and there's many ways to resolve this. Some are sad, some are happy, and this one is definitely a happy one, I think.
We'll get to the sad one in a while.
Get to the sad
Oh,
one.
oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
But yeah, also like the side characters are pretty fun. So there's not that many of them, but they pop up and lighten the mood here and there. Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know. I feel like for a time in the like I don't know, late 90s, early 2000s, there was this thing with like cohabitation romance stories that all worked like this in some way or another, and you always had like the neighbors popping in. They do the
mm-hmm.
same thing here.
Yep. It is. Yeah, it's basically just harkens back to those ones. With a little bit of extra stuff there, basically.
Yeah, yeah, that's you could say that.
I can say that, and I will say that. I kid. I kid.
Incredible. Uh, yeah, this one is. Yeah, I think on the one hand, I'm not super happy with what they did with the title in English because it's such a far departure
Yeah, no,
from what the Japanese and other titles are. At the same time, I don't think the Japanese title really sells what this is about because it's not
there
about
was no
three.
real way to actually like translate the title properly and also have a good hook at the title.
Yeah, the thing is like they don't really like they regret the way it happened, but they don't really regret. Like, as I said, I'm not this huge fan, but I also am not a huge fan of the original title. I think
Mm-hmm.
is my best way to put it.
Yeah, I also think like there's some other interesting things in there, like the whole thing with Chio and the landlady's initial first meeting was pretty funny, pretty neat to actually
Yeah,
see play out. Uh, and then there's the whole bit of just like, okay, y'all need to just straighten shit out at some point. You need to talk.
yeah, yeah.
Which,
I mean, that's definitely another not a trend, not a genre I'm gonna make up on the spot, but we have a wide range of level of communication this year, and they are terrible communicators, definitely.
I mean, to be fair, like the landlady is just a social non-entity for the most part,
Yes, that's
and
the thing. Like
Tio
she
is
doesn't
terribly
really
awkward.
exist. Yeah,
So I get
I mean
it.
that's why the story works the way it does because if those weren't the two characteristics, then it
Yeah,
wouldn't work.
no, it
It
would
would
not.
happen differently.
Exactly.
They can't be socially well adjusted because socially well adjusted people, well,
Socially well-adjusted people don't do this kind of thing.
exactly. And if they do, they don't do it like this. Again, that's they are crap communicators, and
Kind of the
that's honestly
point.
I can see people not liking that because I often find myself. I think with this one it's fine because it's only 3 volumes, but like when you read something that is long and ongoing and they just can't spit it out, it's like okay, guys, I have other things to do. Can we get to the
Communication
point?
is kind of key, and like, yeah, no, a lot of romances, not just Yuri, a lot of romances in
No,
general
no,
have this as a
absolutely. That's
problem.
definitely a genre problem. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it goes beyond just Yuri, unfortunately.
absolutely. No, no. I'm not gonna make this a Yuri problem. Yuri has its own specific problems, but this is not a Yuri problem.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, we should move on to another a transactional Yuri, as you called it.
Yes,
I married
and
my
also
female friend.
cohabitation Yuri.
Yes, that is also that.
Exactly, and it's also cohabitation Yuri. But in contrast to the former one, they are actually great communicators.
Yes. Love that
Like
they
this
just, actually fixed the
this is
problems.
all about them communicating. Like basically that's the structure of this thing. It's like three chapter arcs, and it's always set up, thing comes up, they talk about it, they resolve it.
Hmm. Yeah, no, it really works. This is also done by the same author as Donuts Under the Crescent Moon, by the way.
Exactly. And that's why I knew it was going to be good, and I was not disappointed.
Yes. This is also probably the most chaste of the manga here.
Oh yeah. They Okay, again, so very quick. Premise is when they graduated school, basically, they were like, if we're not married in 5 years, then let's get married to each other. And 5 years later, one of the main characters, Aizawa, like went to England or something, like went abroad somewhere to study, came back, sought out Sarah, and was like, okay, I'm not married, you're not married. Here's the paperwork, basically.
Let's fucking do this thing.
Like that's literally how it happens in the manga. She
Yep.
she has the paperwork ready, and Sarah's like, okay, sure, why not? She's very go with the flow kind of person, and yeah, and they get married.
Hmm.
And I think that helps the fact that they were friends before, because often in things where they like get married or get together in the first chapter or whatever, it still does the normal romance thing where because they don't really know each other, they have to get to know each other, and that's not really a thing here. They
Hmm.
already know each other. This really is more about cohabitation. Like they have to figure out how to fit into each other's lives, because they are basically like their ways of living are incompatible
Hmm.
completely. They basically work on completely diametrically opposed schedules.
Yep. And yeah, that
And
that.
it's really largely about that, about them figuring out what being together means for them.
Hmm. It actually delves pretty deep into it, which is a good thing. I think
Yeah, no, I think so too. Like it's again a little bit silly in even in premise because it's like, well, we're married, but we're just friends, and they tell that to everyone. Like this is not one of those, ooh, but we have to pretend we're actually married. No, it's they tell that to everyone, and everyone's like, okay, I guess.
I mean, the whole arc is them going from married for convenience to married for realties.
Yeah, it's just funny. Like at first, I thought that was just like their weird thing, but over the course of the thing, it's like no, their parents know, all their friends know. It's just they are just friends.
Hmm.
And again, that's a little bit silly, but it works in this premise because much like Donuts Under a Crescent Moon, this is really again about communication, about figuring out what does it even mean for us to be together in any way at all.
Yep. And
And
it also helps that like they do take the time to not just like communicate and flesh out their problems. They also like talk with their friends about things to kind of help them mull things over rather than like just jumping the gun to the first possible solution that comes to mind, even if
you know,
it's.
this is really about emotional maturity and
Hmm.
emotionally maturing.
Yeah, exactly. Like it helps that these are two, grown ass adults who have, jobs and stuff and
Yeah,
working social lives. So like, yeah, no, there's that aspect to it. That
yeah, and they actually are reasonably well-adjusted people,
hmm.
and that makes all the difference. That I think that makes this one work because, yeah, because it's fun and interesting to see them a work through their issues, but also work through their own emotional process and figuring out where they stand, and figuring out like I think one of my favorite little arcs was when Sarah was like traveling for work, and she always liked traveling for work because it's fun, and she's like, actually being alone and doing this alone kind of sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's like her starting to figure out that she actually likes having someone else in her life now, and that's yeah, I really like that.
Hmm. Yeah. No, this one is just really good. Um,
Yeah,
helps that the leads are likable and the side characters are also likable. Love that Rio is like just a bratty little daughter to the two of them, basically.
yeah. Uh, one thing I will say that kind of stood out to me, because this one was published after Donuts Under a Crescent Moon, so I assume it was also drawn and written after that. But I thought the artwork was kind of not as good as in Donuts Under a Crescent Moon. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Donuts Under a
Like
Crescent
it's
Moon,
not
like it.
terrible. It's just
I think
I don't
the
know. It
I think the author
I,
just focused
yeah.
on more detail in Donuts rather than like
Yeah,
this.
no, it was just like when I had read it and looked into it, I always try to read things without any foreknowledge and then look into them after. And when I saw it was the same author, I was like, oh, that's weird. I wouldn't have expected that.
Mm-hmm.
Just from the artwork. Again, the writing is still wonderful, but
Yeah.
I especially in the first volume, I think it kind of rounds out later on, but like during the first few chapters, I thought, oh, this artwork looks very
Utilitarian.
yeah, I don't know, maybe even a little unfinished or something. I don't know. I thought yeah, it just stood out to me. Like I always try to bring art in when I notice it, and in this one, I unfortunately noticed it
Mm-hmm.
with a bit of a negative bent.
Completely fair. Yeah. Yeah, it's still really a good story, and
Absolutely, I really enjoyed it. I think this might be well possibly my favorite on this one's list, but there's one that kind of works differently than all the others.
mm-hmm. We'll get to that. But yes, moving on from a working adult Yuri to a one-volume schoolgirl Yuri, Secret of the Princess, which
Yeah, this is the combat one.
yeah, I figured. Funny enough, this is done by Morinaga Milk, who is the author of one of the all-time classic Yuri manga, Girlfriends.
Yeah, and I have to say I would say Girlfriends is better than this.
I forget,
I
have we
think maybe
covered Girlfriends in the sampler before?
I think we did Girlfriends in our first year, but I hadn't read it then, so basically you just told me about it.
We're gonna have to cover it again then, probably.
Yeah, maybe we'll do it next year. But I'd have to reread it probably.
Yeah. Anyways,
Anyway,
this is especially weaker work. Partially hurt
yeah,
by the
I
fact
think
that it is one volume.
yeah, I think this is one of these like it's fine. It's perfectly fine. It's not offensive. It's not bad or anything. But it almost feels like something from the 90s or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it is like it's older than many other things. I think it's from like I'm looking at it right now. It's from 2012, but it's not that old.
It's still over a decade old. God damn.
Yeah, but Girlfriends is older. Like Girlfriends is from ended in 2010. So
Yeah.
no, again, I think this one is fine, but this one very much leans into this one is the girl, and this one is also a girl, but is actually the boy.
Yeah. It's definitely the
And that
one
is that
that
is basically the story. Like
yeah.
I
It's
think I think the one thing that kind of softens that is that in the very very final chapter when there's a time skip, what's her name has the long hair again, but yeah,
Miu,
this
I think it was.
yeah
But yeah. Or are you talking about Fujiwara, who's the more
yeah exactly Fujiwara who has the like she cuts her hair at some point
mm,
because Miu keeps going on about this prince and princess thing. Like
yeah.
that's the premise.
Yeah, there is a funny bit near the end because where Miu's mom's like, "Oh yeah, totally hook up with Fujiwara. She's rich."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, that's very quick. The premise is basically Miu has always been told by her mom, like, make sure you're cute, so you beg a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what she told her, and Fujiwara. But she's in an all-girls school, of course, because this is Yuri manga. Um,
To be fair, all girls schools are, I think, somewhat common in Japan.
very, very common. Yeah, from as far as I know. I don't know. Either way, yeah. So that is basically the premise, and so basically Miu views relationships always through this lens of the prince and the princess, and she's the princess and always cute and whatever. So her partner has to be the prince, even if it's another girl, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
I mean when I say the combat is strong in this one because because everything is viewed to this very
Through that
male female
lens.
coded
Yeah.
lens, and it soften it does two things. One, it specifically addresses it because it keeps like she it opens by my mom told me to always be cute so I could get a good guy. Maybe that's a bit traditional or something like that. And in the end, her mom being like, "No, I don't care if it's a boy or a girl, like that one."
Yeah. Oh shit, she's loaded. Do it, girl.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, honestly, I felt very compact, and this one is fine, but it didn't really knock
This
it out of the
is
park. I thought
this might be the weakest one of this batch.
probably maybe
Well, the
yeah.
other one volume one we're gonna discuss later might be on the weaker side, but I
Well,
think
it's very different.
it's very different. It's
This
kind of
is
hard
this
to
is
compare.
honestly, Secret of the Princess. This one is kind of like the platonic ideal of a 2010 Yuri story.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. Yeah. Overall,
And
though,
where things like the guy she was interested in or handsome girl and sheltered girl have fun with it. This one is just like, no, this is what this one is about.
yeah.
I mean, I still enjoyed it. As I said, it's fine. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah, no, there's nothing inherently wrong with it, honestly. It's just like it has some weaknesses in the premise area and the compet. The whole compet
Yeah,
thing kind of brings it down a little bit.
yeah. I think if it had like another chapter, it probably could have addressed that if it wanted to, but it doesn't really want to. It has a premise and wants to do that, and
Mm-hmm.
that's fine.
Yeah. Still, it's a fun little read. It's not anything too crazy or heavy outside of a little bit in I think the penultimate chapter with the whole
Yeah, but even
rooftop confrontation thing.
yeah, that was a weird kind of
Yeah, it was a bit of a hard left turn, I think.
yeah. It was like whoa,
That escalated
what?
very quickly.
Yeah,
But yes, otherwise
yeah,
still
yeah. I think this one a bit of a bumpy ride, but it's still fun.
yeah. It's not bad by any stretch. I don't think we've covered like a truly bad Yuri manga on this on any of the samplers so far. Though we've had some that have been, you know, kind of
Yeah, no,
mediocre.
I think it's perfectly fine to have things on here that are just fine, just
Yeah.
because it's a sampler. It's not the point is not to give you the best of the best. We can't talk about Bloom into You every year.
I
Uh,
Bloom into You is going to be on the top of so many people's Yuri list for so long.
yeah, yeah. I honestly think like maybe we're seeing a new era where it's just not the first thing people think of anymore. But I still struggle to see what's better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we've
We've
reached the era of
peaked.
a different kind of story. We have like Green Yuri now, but like in pure quality of writing and execution, it's always Bloom into You.
Mm-hmm. Which, that's how it is.
That's just how it is.
Yep.
But that also means if and when we get something that actually surpasses Bloom into You, it's gonna be fucking great. So
Yeah. It's just a matter of when, basically, that comes around.
yeah, I mean it's gonna happen at some point. It always happens at some point.
Yeah, there can never
But
be
Secret of the
a
Princess is not it.
yeah, no. There can never be a permanently preeminent example of something.
Yeah,
But yes,
if only because like sensibilities change. But yeah,
mhm. We should move on to back to adult romance. Uh
yay.
with She Loves to Cook and She Loves to Eat.
Yeah,
I think it's only one
we've
volume we're
talked about
covering this year.
last year. Yeah, I mean it's still great.
Yeah.
It made two turns or not turns, but two moves. One it moved into straight out romance. It's just
Hmm.
they're together now. They live together. They moved in together. This is a romance now. Uh, and it also moved from being like about kind of a little bit about societal pressure and stuff to being straight up about social critique of systems in Japan.
Hmm. there's a lot of social critique in this one.
And
Like the
not
whole
only about homosexual people, like about every marginalized group, basically.
yeah, like there's the whole bit with Senna and her struggles with dapnophobia, I think it's pronounced,
Yeah,
which was really interesting. I knew nothing about that
yeah,
one.
yeah, exactly. I was not aware that that was that much of a thing, but it clearly is, and
Hmm.
the manga is certainly interested in educating you, which is great.
Yeah, it was very informative. I liked the whole dedicated a good sidebar to that.
Yeah, I think that's what makes She Loves to Cook and She Loves to Eat stand out. That it's not preachy, like it doesn't like get up on the soapbox and go like you should think this and this and this. No, it just educates you about things.
Yeah, the
It
whole
just tells you when things are unfair, and
yeah
it never says and that's and the solution is. It always just says this is kind of shitty.
yeah the whole thing about the realtors and how they do whatchamacallit, the uh
Yeah, yeah, the
guarantors and stuff like that was
yeah.
really interesting.
That was also really interesting to me, and I liked that they in the end of the volume they like shouted out real companies that help
Hmm.
homosexual people get apartments. And yeah, I think this is just as much as I am unfit to talk about lesbian representation for obvious reasons.
Hmm.
This one feels very real to me in many ways,
Yeah,
and that's why I like that's what I enjoy about it. I like reading it not because it's like super sweet and I'm gonna get diabetes from reading it. No, it just feels like a nice adult relationship.
yeah. I mean, it helps that like Kasuga and Nomoto are just the really endearing characters.
No,
Uh,
absolutely. The whole cast is great.
hmm Yeah, the overall cast is really good. Um, there's also just the whole thing of shit. What was I gonna talk about? Oh yeah, like there's a little bit of fleshing out for Yako and Senna this volume. What with Senna's eating disorder being fleshed out and Yako getting a little bit more
Yeah,
focus and like her traveling thing at the end of the volume is pretty funny.
yeah. Yako's great. Like
Yeah.
she's just a great character.
But yeah, there's just a lot of really good stuff in this one.
Yeah, I really enjoy this one, and I'm not really surprised, but kind of surprised it is not in the running for an anime adaptation because it has gotten like multiple live action things, I believe.
Yeah, I think it has like two
Uh,
seasons of live action,
yeah,
30
and
episodes.
I'm
God damn.
yeah, and I'm kind of curious as to why animation studios haven't jumped onto this
It's a
because
josei, is probably why.
yeah,
Joseis do not get a
that's
lot of
probably it.
anime.
Yeah, they get live action.
Yeah.
Probably, but I would love to see this one animated because I think
Mm,
the visual style is
yeah.
so it like it's so unique, and I would really love it, but I can see that it won't most likely.
Yeah. It has the unfortunate twofold problem of being a josei manga and being a web manga on top of being a Yuri
Yeah.
manga. Which Yuri manga have been getting a lot more love recently in terms of getting anime
Well,
adaptations outside the occasional bad
except
adaptation.
that one.
Uh,
uh,
we won't
you know
go there.
what?
We'll try not to go there again.
Next year when there's another volume to talk about, we'll get to it, and
Yeah.
then we'll burn everything down.
God. Whoever decided to adapt that series that way deserves to be shot.
Yeah,
I say as the least inflammatory way I could say it.
yeah. We'll get to it next year.
Yes.
But yeah, She Loves to Cook, She Loves to Eat is really great. I think everyone should give it a shot. It's definitely one of the good ones.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of stuff that makes you want to cry,
Oh
well,
my god.
let's move on to The Summer You Were
Oh
There. God, this
yeah,
one broke me.
yeah. So this one is the sad one.
hmm The Doom Deary.
Um, yeah, it's the Doomed Yuri. It's really good, but I
hmm
will say it took me about half the chapters to get there.
Yeah. It takes a while
Just
to build up, but there is some
yeah.
really
So
good
real quick,
foreshadowing in that
real
build up.
quick, real quick premise and also spoilers. Shizuku is basically hikikomori. She like has no friends, only does her own thing, and uh, she writes, but she doesn't write for anyone. She writes for herself. She finished her book and wants to burn it for reasons we learn later. Runs into her classmate Kaori, who reads the book, likes it, and goes like, "Well, it's summer vacation now. Let's date." And it starts as like almost transactional Yuri, where it's like, "We are now together, so I don't tell anyone about your book." But of course, we learn Kaori is terminally ill. She's gonna die at the end of summer, and the manga is very specific, like very clear about that. This is not July and April situation where it's like, well, she's sick, but and she might die, but we don't really know. It might happen. No, she's like, I'm gonna die. I'm done.
Yeah, it's not a situation either where it's like in I want to eat your pancreas, where it's like, oh, it's a bad illness, but it's potentially curable, and then she dies anyways for
No,
some
no,
fucking stupid
no,
reason.
no. She's dead. There's this honestly great dialogue where it's like, but can't we try something? And she's like, no, no, I'm here because we tried something.
We tried
I'm
everything, and
dying. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm done. um, but honestly, that's where I thought it was good. Until we got to where she was hospitalized, I was like, okay, this is just all the tragedy manga I know. Like this is Yola in April. This is Silent Voice. This is just everything. This is just everything that is built to make you sad.
and then it
And then
actually
it
delves
turned into
into
being
it.
actually really, really fucking good, and that hurt.
It hurts
Fucking
so
dumb by the
fucking
end.
good in the back half.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, the end was great. I hated it.
I fucking wept over this
No,
one.
no, this one definitely made me cry. Like this was so good.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no,
Um,
it helps that it actualizes Kaori as a character quite well and like actually delves into her angst over the fact that she is dying and that she doesn't want to die, no matter how much
yeah,
she's like gone about settling her affairs and helping her friends before she passes. Like she
yeah,
goes through all that trouble and she wants to help her friends and those she cares about. She wants to make it better before she passes, but it still doesn't clear up all her angst about it.
like but that doesn't help her. It's just
Yeah.
something she thinks she can do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've man, almost want to go through the plot beat by beat because there's so much in
There's
this one.
so much good stuff in this one. Like
Yeah.
it also like I am glad like before we get like the actual like drop of oh yeah, no, she is terminally ill. There is bits of foreshadowing beforehand. Like,
I
something
mean,
is up with her, but it's not clear
yeah.
what.
I mean, to be fair, I knew going into it
Oh yeah, no, I knew going
what
in.
this was about, so
It was just nice to pick up the bits of foreshadowing.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think a few things I want to mention. So in Shizuku's past, before she was basically living as a hermit, uh she got the like she somehow saw someone write like a good thing about her that she speaks her mind, and then she basically just started
As
having no
kids
filter.
as kids often
As
do,
kids
they
do,
take
like
one
as
bit of
kids do.
praise and they just make
Like
that their whole
there's honestly there's
personality.
I have some chinks in the armor, and this is one of them. The age ranges don't make sense at all. Like she did this when she was 10, and 10-year-olds are socially smarter than that, generally speaking. Not all
Generally
of them, of
speaking,
course,
but
but
Shizuku does come across as a bit of an awkward person from the start.
yes, but I think it would have. I just think that that bit would have worked better.
It would
Basically,
have worked
she
better if it was
accidentally,
like 7 or 8 rather
if
than 10.
yeah, basically she accidentally bullies a sick girl for being sick, and she doesn't even want to do that. She doesn't know she's sick. She just says like, you, you just can't keep up, and that sucks. And yeah, that's basically what happens. It's obviously all very dramatic because it's a huge part of the plot. But like again, my one of my two chinks is that doesn't like that would work better if she were like 2 or 3 years younger. But fine, whatever.
It's a
And then she
necessary weasel for
starts.
the premise.
Yeah, it's fine. Like it, I think it could have worked because it doesn't really matter if it's been 5 years ago or 7 years ago. But anyway,
True.
that's not. It's not super important. It's just something where I thought, like, maybe not. 10 is weird. And and then as she basically is ostracized from her peer groups in school, she realizes she really loves reading and she could maybe write. And then she starts writing and starts publishing things online and gets good feedback and keeps doing it. And then the feedback turns bad for external reasons. Like it turns out her story mirrors some real life things she didn't know about.
Which,
And
surprisingly
then
enough,
basically,
happens a lot in
yeah,
real
I
life.
mean, of course, that happens. And then basically, like, she had this safe space. Like, she was ostracized in real life, but she had this community online where she felt safe. And then that community started ostracizing her too. And then she decided, okay, I'm gonna finish writing this, but then I'm gonna delete it. And then she says, then I'm gonna vanish. And no one really, like, it's never really addressed if this means suicide or not. I personally think it does because I don't know
Yeah.
how else you could read it, but it's never specifically stated.
No,
Um,
it's just vague. It's just heavily implied.
yeah,
Which honestly, I think is the more
and
tasteful way to go about that.
absolutely no. I was perfectly fine with that. I didn't mind that at all. I just and Kaori, her kind of well, her girlfriend, was also in the same grade school, but was not there anymore when she was bullied. So she only knew her as this like very confident child,
Mm-hmm.
and really liked that about her, and looked up to her as like a role model.
Yeah.
And then also, as we later learn, and that's my kind of my second chink in the armor. She doesn't she doesn't really tell Shizuku she knows her from grade school for a bit. Like when she tells her, it's a whole thing because she even says like I couldn't really keep keeping this from you because there was like it doesn't really work that way. And she also turns out she also was one of the people who read the story Shizuku published online. I thought that was a bit much. I thought that
A little bit contrived, maybe.
that was like okay. I mean, I guess like it makes sense for the character because she was
Yeah.
always in hospital. She read a lot. Sure, why not? But yeah, that was the one where I was like, okay, this I think I would have liked it better if either she had told us that way earlier because of course the when Shizuku was trying to burn her story, she Kaori recognized the story and was like, "Oh, finally, I can see the ending. I can read the ending of this." And I thought, yeah, I thought it would have worked better if she had either told us that earlier or just hadn't told us at all.
Mm-hmm. Just left it up to implication, basically.
Yeah, or just left it out like it doesn't really matter. It's not that important.
Mm.
So yeah, I think, but other than those really tiny gripes, this is just very good, and it deals with a lot. It, as I said, it really does do the whole silent voice thing in like half the time silent voice did.
I thought some was
All of
like only 7 or 8 volumes.
yeah, but this one does it basically in one volume
Ah,
because
right.
the whole Shizuku dealing with her having been a bully and reconnecting and trying to make amends and stuff happens in like
Yes.
5 chapters or something.
Yes.
Um, just baked in there, but it works because of how it's handled and because she isn't really forgiven because she herself says I can't be forgiven for that. I did a shitty thing. Like that's just we can both agree that it was a shitty thing, but that won't undo me doing a shitty thing.
Yep.
And and that's how this one really that's honestly where this one stands out. Like this one doesn't stand out because it has a sad ending. Everyone can make a sad ending. This one stands out because it really hooks into the characters and goes, no, this is important to this person, and you're gonna write it out even if it hurts.
Yep. Basically, yeah. It, it it's just the whole thing of yeah, we're going to make you endeared to these characters. We are going to give you a glimpse of how happy they could eventually potentially be together, and then we're going to rip that away from you and stomp on your heart 6 times.
Yeah, yeah, this one was it hurt. It hurt very
It
much.
hurts so fucking much, but it hurt in a good way.
Yeah, yeah, it did. It's just
I do also appreciate that the story takes the time to delve into all the characters this will Kaori's death will impact beyond just Shizuku. This very could
Yeah,
have easily done the sappy romance thing of, oh
yeah, of
yeah,
no,
only the romantic partner feels the pain of this person's loss.
yeah,
Only they truly feel it. And it's like, no, her family feels her
everyone
loss. Her
does. Like,
friends
yeah,
feel her loss. Like, it's not just Shizuku.
yeah. No, I will say maybe I found my third tiny bit of critique. I think her little sister is a little too world weary.
I mean, I kind of get it because he's basically spent her entire life with a terminally ill sister who's been in and out of
Yeah, I mean,
hospitals.
it's not that it doesn't fit in the story. It's just like when the whole thing with the book is going on and her little sister is like, at first the Shiori is like, no, I will bring her this book because I want my sister to ask me for stuff and not you. And then basically this, I don't know, 10-year-old girl reasons herself into, no, she asked you, she's gonna be disappointed if she can't get see you. So even if I don't want that, then and I thought, oh man, that's very mature for a 10-year-old when the other 10-year-olds in this story are like bullies. I don't know. But again, like this is complaining on an extremely high level.
Yeah, it's like look, I get the nitpicks, but there's only really nits to pick in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nothing else. It's like this thing is really really good.
Hmm. It hurts so good, damn it. Why does it hurt so good?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
like honestly, when I finished reading it, it's like I had to get up and like walk around my apartment for a minute. It was like,
Oh yeah, no, I had to take a minute
whew.
to just sit with my feelings before I did anything
Yeah,
else. And I think this was like the last thing I touched media wise for the rest of the night too. It was like,
yeah,
okay,
same.
yeah, I need to go to bed now. I
Yeah,
can't.
yeah,
I
no,
can't.
this is it for today.
Yeah, yeah. There's only so many. There's some series that are just like that, and this is one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's really heavy. Like I'm
Hmm.
not gonna sugarcoat this. Like if you're not in the headspace for something really sad and heavy, don't touch the summer you were here. Like don't do that. It
Don't do
hurts.
that to
And if you're
yourself.
not
Yeah,
if you're not in the position to do that to yourself, then don't.
yeah. No, this is not worthwhile if it's going to absolutely break
Like
you.
I pushed reading this away a few times because I was like mentally not in the place to read
Hmm.
anything sad, and I'm happy I did that because yeah, this one is painful in a good way, but still painful.
Yeah, it's like that one gif of Captain Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine just going pain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's yeah, that's what it is.
uh, yeah, no, still good though. Still very worthwhile. If you can handle the tragedy of it, if you can handle
Yeah,
the pain of it, um, doomed
this is
your
like
doomed
on the
romance is not for everybody.
yeah, this is like on the other hand of the best one we read this year spectrum, but it's just it's Doom Fury. It works differently from all the other ones.
Yeah,
That's why I can't really compare it to anything. But it's really good.
yeah. Like I know some people take issue with Doomed Yuri just from a number of
I get that. I
perspectives.
I get
I
that.
get it.
And as I said, I had my issues getting into it. Like when I was like at chapter 12, 13, I was like, oh god, why why do this?
This is gonna
Why
hurt.
just
It's
make
gonna
something to
fucking
be sad?
hurt.
And and I thought I wasn't gonna like it. I thought I was just gonna be pissed and angry by the end, like I was at Yola in April.
Hmm.
But no, this one is really really good. That's just it.
Yeah, no, like that is the thing too. Tragedy is something that all too easily lends itself to poor execution.
Yeah,
Partially because it is just a genre that a lot of people shoehorn in to things because they think something being tragic automatically makes it
yeah.
good, which is not
But
the case.
that's no, absolutely not. But that's what I meant when I said like for the first half, I was like, okay, I'm just reading every tragedy. It's just I didn't understand why it was good because by that point it wasn't really doing anything special.
Yes.
It really to me it really only came into itself when Kaori was hospitalized and that is honestly a genuine gripe I have with with not this story specifically, but all stories of this kind, I don't. I understand why, but I do not like when people are terminally ill and we learn it like halfway through the story
Yeah.
when they knew the whole time. Because I always think like I get that nobody wants to talk about it, but at the same time, this is a
Just
shitty
rip
thing
off the
to do
fucking
to everyone.
band-aid. Rip off the
Yeah,
fucking band. I get it.
like the story again. I knew what was going on going in because I had heard of the manga before. So like that didn't hurt the story for me. If they had just told us and I mean they kind of tell you in chapter 1 because she's like this is the only summer we ever spent together.
And we get bits of
But yeah, I
foreshadowing
think
leading up to the
yeah,
actual reveal, which helps
yeah,
actually make it feel organic rather than just like a sudden bomb drop.
yeah. It can be done well, and I think in this one it is, but just in general, I think that's one of these things where you have to be very careful because usually, like in other things, it's like halfway through the story we learn, well, X is terminal ill. It's like why do we learn this now? Why
Yeah,
didn't you tell us
exactly. Exactly.
either the reader or even like your romantic partner before because it's a shitty thing to do. And that is another thing the story acknowledges.
Yeah,
No,
no.
the summer you were there is really, really good, but also really fucking sad.
Yeah, no, it fucking hurts. It fucking hurts. It's a really good one, but it fucking hurts.
Yep.
But yes,
You know it's gonna hurt, and you think I'm not gonna fall for it, and then you do, then you're
yep.
fucked.
But we should move from absolute heart-wrenching tragedy to something more or less on the opposite total side of the spectrum. Superwoman in Love, the conclusion.
Yeah,
Uh,
this one's just silly. I mean, it was just silly last time we talked about
yeah.
this. Like,
Look, this is like Tokusatsu Sentai send up, but Yuri.
yeah,
And you
yeah.
know what? I fucking love it
Which
for that.
seems to be, yeah, absolutely. I really enjoyed every minute I spent with it, and I'm probably never gonna read it again. Like, I'm never gonna touch it again. It was great. It was really fun. I loved it, and I'm done.
Yeah. You don't need to re-experience this one.
No,
It's a good time, but you don't need to re-experience it.
no, it's like all of like not specifically as Yuri, but they've done a few tokusatsu send up things over the last few years, and all the ones I saw I was like, yeah, this is good, fine, done.
Yeah, like you got this one, you got Red Ranger Isekai, you got Miss Koritsu, you got a bunch of them. There's been a bunch in the
Yeah,
past several years. Oh, Love After World Domination is another one.
yeah, that's probably the big one.
That's we'll never talk about it here because that's not a Yuri manga, but
No, it's not a Yuri, but it's basically the same premise.
yeah, no, like that's the thing with these. Like Tokusatsu send-ups are fun. Um, it's kind of
This
hard
is
not to
another
be
one of
fun.
these. It's almost more of a gag manga. Like if you don't get the tokusatsu jokes, then this is just probably a really uneven Yuri. I don't know, because I get the tokusatsu jokes. But this is also almost more about the jokey gimmick than about the. Not that it doesn't do character development, but it's secondary, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it helps that this one is like just like it works as a gag Yuri manga with a Toku theme if you're not super familiar with Toku, but you're going to get a
Yeah,
lot more out of it if you get the references.
exactly.
Also,
And I mean, I don't get all the references. I'm not super into Toku stuff,
no,
but I just like I've seen enough Power Rangers
I think Number would probably get a
to get
little bit more of the
references.
reference than you or I would, but I don't know how deep she is
Probably.
into Toku either.
Yeah.
Uh, also, while these last two volumes are a bit more serious than the first three, it's still like an inherently silly series just because of
Yeah,
how it's
it's
premised.
exactly. It's the premise, and it stands with that premise, and it's good for it,
Mm-hmm.
but it also isn't really equipped to move past that premise.
No, and it doesn't really need to. It's pretty
No,
short and sweet.
absolutely not.
It's 5 volumes. It's not like super deep or long. Uh,
Yeah.
it's just a fun time. Also, just love the whole bit of the two villains just have basically creating a daughter for themselves and not even think about the
Yeah.
implications of that.
Yeah. That was pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly, it's been a while since I finished the manga, and I don't have too much to say about it because it's one of these. Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. I liked the characters, but I can't really say much more.
Yeah, there's not really much more that needs to be said, if I'm being honest. It's just a fun story. And
Yeah,
that's all it needs to be. But yes, we should probably move on to the last of the one shots or one volume series
yeah,
entries. Uh, Transparent Light Blue.
the real toxic Yuri.
Honestly, this is look, aside from the last one, which goes outside of the Yuri for toxicity, this is probably the most toxic one.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah,
There was another one on the list, but we kicked that one. This is definitely the winner for toxic.
oh yeah. Oh, we'll talk about that one next year. That'll be fun.
Oh, that's great.
Look, I kicked that can down the road, but that is still on the road.
Yeah, hey, toxic Yuri is absolutely toxic Yuri is also Yuri.
There is a toxic theory that we're probably never going to discuss here because I hate the premise, but yes.
Not touching citrus.
No, I wasn't talking about Citrus. I was talking about a different one. Though you've probably
Oh,
heard of it
even
as
worse.
well.
Yeah, we'll get there. Anyway, or not.
We will
Anyway,
not get
transparent
there.
light blue. No, we will not. Transparent light blue is like premise-wise pretty easy.
Yeah,
You have
it's a
these
love triangle
three childhood friends.
with three childhood friends, two girls and a boy,
Yeah.
and it is
Oh,
revolving
now I
around
know
one of
which.
the girls.
Now, as you say, two girls and a boy, I know which one you were talking about. But anyway, yeah, very, very, very easy premise. Like you have these childhood friends, two girls and a boy, and one of the girls starts dating the boy, and the other girl is unfortunately in love with the girl.
Yep. And we get a little bit of
So it's
toxicity.
reciprocated, kind of.
Yeah.
It's so fun. Yeah, a little bit of toxicity. That's the one.
Yeah, because as it turns out, like love triangles do not make a nice healthy foundation for relationships usually.
No. I mean, it starts out with like a thing they do the girls do together is ear cleaning, which apparently is a thing in Japan.
Oh yeah, no, it's a thing that pops up a
Uh,
lot in anime. It's like supposed to be like
yeah,
this super intimate thing.
yeah, because like due to the like atmospheric conditions when you live on an island, apparently your earwax gets super weird, and so you can't really clean it out yourself or something. I don't know. Or it's just easier when someone else does it. And like this is very clearly a metaphor for sex. Like it isn't subtle about that at all.
New. Like the very first page is
Exactly, exactly.
like
Should I put it in? Should I go harder? What the fuck is happening?
it is just like very transparent about the quote unquote metaphor.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's not subtle at all. And uh but yeah, basically when the girl and the boy start dating, the third wheel goes toxic. That's what this is.
Yeah, and like it eventually ends with the two girls going out and the boy just like ultimately being mostly fine with it. But it's like you ended at this
This can't
situation.
be healthy, man.
Yeah, no.
Like we learned that the one girl recorded the other girl while she was cleaning her ear to record her moaning, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? It's so creepy.
Yeah, no, it's a
And
fucking mess.
this is just 5 chapters. This is so short and so toxic.
No, and like two of the chapters are dedicated to an entirely different story.
Exactly. It's like I was baffled when I read this. Honestly, I didn't even hate it. I thought it was kind of bad, but in an entertaining way. But it was like I was just how what is this?
Yeah, no, it was quite the experience.
It was an experience exactly because like even the whole I secretly recorded you to get off to hearing you moan like that is not resolved. That is just accepted as something she did.
Yeah, no, it's just like, oh yeah, this is normal. We'll try to treat this as
and
normal.
and Ichika is I think the other girl's name is like okay I guess I'm kind of flattered or something like I yeah it's so weird.
Yeah,
This one
it's
really like for being so short, it really goes places.
yeah. This one was a ride.
Yeah, that's I think that's the best way to put it. This one is really a ride. Like read it if you're interested in experiencing something probably nothing else is going to give you
Yeah.
because it's there was
Oh
a
yeah.
non-Yuri romance thing some time ago. Mysterious Girlfriend X, and that was different. That was completely different from this. Uh, but it kind of gave me similar vibes. It wasn't nearly as toxic. It was actually kind of sweet, but it was just the same level of like just what is going on. It's weird.
Hmm. Oh yeah, we haven't even touched the second story in this one. Oh boy, that one's a whole loop. That one's a whole ass thing.
Go ahead.
Like, so there's three workers at a cafe and their manager, right? So the one of the girl workers has a crush on the other girl worker, while this very effeminate boy is like clearly pining over the girl who has a crush on the other girl. And it turns out that the girl who is being crushed on is seeing the manager, right? So the sapphic girl is like clearly broken up about this and starts a toxic ass relationship with the effeminate boy uh, as a quote unquote substitute for the whole unrequited crush thing. Though I think she starts it before she finds out that her crush is seeing the manager, and then it turns much more toxic after she finds out. Anyways, it's revealed in the second chapter that the effeminate boy is actually a girl who has a crush on the other girl. And eventually they get together or something.
Yeah, it's just it's really it's an experience. You pick it
Yeah.
up and you put it down, and you're like, what just happened to me?
This is definitely
Like
the
it's
most
5 chapters. It doesn't take long to read, but it's like what just
this is
what?
definitely the most what the fuck of the entries this year. I
Yeah,
was not
absolutely.
expecting this when I put it on the list.
No, I was neither was I. Like I was yeah. I saw the premise of like two girls and a guy. I was like, okay, I guess it's one of those. It's like, oh no.
We were
And
not
no, it's
prepared.
not.
We were not remotely prepared.
Yeah.
But yes, if you want to stop talking about this toxic dumpster fire, we should probably move on to a different kind of toxicity. Gamer toxicity. Young ladies don't play fighting games.
Yes. This I really like this one, but this is kind of the poster child for this is marketed as Yuri and I couldn't tell you why.
To be fair, it's like pretty clear from early on, not early on, but like about the midpoint of the volumes we have that Aya has a very clear crush on Mio.
Yes, but it's not about that even like
No,
it
it's
doesn't
not the
matter.
premise. It is not the core of the
Does
series.
not matter at all.
The core of this series is gaming.
Yes. So, premise real quick. We are at a high level elite all girls school where all the girls are like just the most refined high level persons of like well bred and ladies, young ladies. That's the point. And Aya was sent here to absorb this into her because she does not have the most refined background, but you know. Uh, Also, Aya loves playing fighting games, and but can't really do that here because come on, young ladies don't play fighting games,
Mm-hmm.
especially not the super popular, pretty blonde ones. Except of course she does, and that's basically the premise. Like they are not allowed to play video games at all at this school, but Aya and her crush Mio really like playing fighting games, and basically form a secret fighting game club.
Yeah.
And Mio is very clearly fighting game sexual. Like she does not give a shit about anything.
Yeah, I mean, we get to the point
Except
during the
playing.
tournament arc where Aya gets very upset over getting fighting game cucked by an elementary
Yes.
schooler.
For, yeah.
It's wild saying that, but that's not inaccurate.
That is what happens. Yeah. That is exactly what happens in that story arc.
I mean,
Aya is yeah.
look,
I mean, as I said, it's the poster child for things that are built as Yuri and sold as Yuri or marketed as Yuri, but don't really.
they
Like
don't go
when I
super
was
deep into the Yuri, no.
yeah. So when I was I don't know, 16, 17, a long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far
It
away.
used unfortunately not. It used to be you would have two categories for, or rather four categories for gay manga. You have yaoi, which is boys fucking, boys love, which is boys in love but not fucking. You have yuri, which is girls fucking, and you have girls love, which is girls in love but not fucking. And now we need like a third category where it's like this is not at all about the girls; they are just all girls.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there is a point when we actually get to the tournament arc and we get actual like a varied cast rather than just all schoolgirls. Uh, like well, a slightly more varied cast since most of the gamers are
Yeah.
guys. Uh, but you get the whole bit of that, and yeah, it's really interesting to see the whole tournament scene integrated into the manga.
Like
And
I have every confidence that this will turn into romance at some point
oh
on
yeah,
some level,
it's just
but
not going to happen
also
anytime soon. It is a slow ass
but
burn.
also the author doesn't give a shit. The author wants to make a manga about people playing fighting games, and they just have this vehicle to do it on. And
This
I'm all for it. It's great. It's so fun.
this manga
I
goes
don't even enjoy
deep into the
fighting games, but I
nitty
love
gritty
this
of
manga.
fighting games. It
Yeah.
goes deep into like the details of it, of them, how they
Yeah.
work.
And does it, as I said, I don't like fighting games. I'm terrible at them. I have no interest in
Hmm.
learning them or playing
Same.
them. But this is super fun.
It
I
is a
I love
good
reading this.
time. It is just a good time.
Yeah.
Also
I
helped
I
by the
really enjoy reading it, but I almost think we won't put it back on until it turns into full-blown romance because it kind of doesn't fit all the other things on this list
no,
because it's
no,
not about girls being in love at all.
no. It is about unhinged girls being toxic ass
Yeah.
gamers.
Yeah.
Which
Like if breasts were my favorite thing, are my favorite thing in the world was like a gag manga where the people happen to be all girls in love. This one is a gag manga where the cast happens to be girls and at least one of them kind of maybe has a crush.
it's
And
about
that's how Yuri this is so far.
it's about gamer girls.
Exactly. And that's what it's about. Like all the other things. Like yeah, I struggle to talk about this one in the context of Yuri manga. Because it's more like a sports manga really.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it does. There's even a whole bit in the most recent volume we have where they talk, and like the last two volumes rather, where they talk about esports in detail
Yeah.
and like how they are basically like, yeah, no, they're effectively a sport of their own. It's just different from normal sports.
Just a different skill set. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think honestly, Young Ladies really manages to bridge the gap between gag manga and sports manga really well.
Hmm.
Because like what they do, how they go about doing their secret fighting game club is inherently silly.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Also,
and Mio's whole thing and Aya's mother is like a fucking joke, a toxic joke.
Mio's
Uh,
mother is fucking unhinged. Holy shit.
oh yeah, I meant Mio's mother. Yeah, I sorry. Um, like it's insane. It's silly and funny as shit, but it's obviously gag manga stuff. But then the fighting game stuff, the esports and sports stuff is really good sports manga shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't come here for the Yuri. You're not gonna find much to latch onto.
No.
It's just not.
No.
It's
It
not
is
what this is about.
first and foremost a gaming manga.
Yeah,
Yuri manga distant second.
yeah.
All that
Maybe third
said,
after gag manga.
yeah. All that said, still a very fun time and definitely worth
Oh,
checking out.
absolutely. I love it. As I said, I think it's really really good. I really enjoy it. I haven't subscribed. Like I really love it. I just struggle to talk about it in the context of Yuri
Mhm.
because it is very much not interested in being perceived as a Yuri thing
Yeah,
beyond its
no.
marketing,
They do
which
a
I
little
would.
bit of like the sapphic teasing with like other characters as well, like that one
And
like
with Aya and Mio too, like they are supremely shippable, but it's just
yeah.
if I had to guess, obviously this is speculation, but if I had to guess, I'd say they they wrote this manga and the publisher went like, how are we gonna sell this? We can't sell it to gamers because it's all girls, so we're just gonna sell it as Yuri
Yeah. I mean, look,
because that's what we have.
if the author isn't a coward, they'll probably go a bit deeper into the
Sure, like
actual.
I'm sure at some point, if they don't do it by themselves, at some point the editor is gonna be, we've got to give the people something. But
We must give the people what they want.
exactly. But no, this is just, yeah. I As I said twice now, I just struggle to talk about this as a Yuri because it really isn't.
Yeah, no, you're correct in that.
But it's really good.
It is
Like you
very
should read it.
like it's not the best Yuri series by virtue of not really being particularly a
It's not
Yuri
a Yuri series,
series.
yeah. No, it's a very good sports manga. That would be the context I would recommend it to people too.
Yeah, it's a good
It's a
esports manga basically.
it's a gag slash esports manga.
hmm with
It doesn't
very
go
strong
really
Yuri
wrong.
undertones
Yeah,
bordering on
but
text.
honestly, but in the same way, like if it weren't so serious about the esports, I would put it like in the same category as like K-On! Or Let's Make a Mug or something, like those
Oh yeah.
typical cute girls doing cute things manga, because that's the level of Yuri we have.
I mean, to be fair, this isn't cute girls doing cute things. This is cute
No,
girls doing
that's what I
toxic
mean.
gamer shit.
That's what I mean. Like if it weren't so serious, like if the gaming thing weren't like explored in the way it is, where they call out specific techniques and tell, basically you could learn how to play fighting games with this manga because they teach you how these techniques work and what they do. Um, it's not like K-On! Where they decide we're gonna learn instruments and next episode they all know how to play instruments, which is unfortunately not how that works in real life. I can tell you that from
hmm
experience. Um, so no, this is, I would see it as a sports manga, and that would be the context in which I would recommend people approach it. There's probably some Yuri down the line, but for now,
For now,
that's just not what it is.
yeah, it's not the focus,
No.
unfortunately.
I mean, I'm fine with it.
Like I'm fine with it too, but I'd rather it had the actual Yuri in it. Damn it.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. At some point, it's gonna get like Yuri romance tropes in it, and then they're gonna make an anime adaptation that only covers like the first 3 volumes, and none of that is in there. And it's
There
like,
is an anime
great,
adaptation coming up.
yeah, great already.
I mean, apparently they managed to
Fucking
get
hate.
the fucking rights for Street Fighter actually, like to use
Yeah,
that for
I
the
saw
gameplay.
that. Yes, now that you mention, I actually saw that trailer, and it kind of was weird. Uh, But yeah, it's another one of those. I haven't really looked into anything beyond that trailer if they market it as a Yuri anime, because it isn't gonna be. It can't be because
No.
it's
What
not.
which
It doesn't have.
it is unfortunate, but at the same time, like I do get it. Like they want to market it as the most marketable genre they can.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it basically it speaks to two things. One of them very very good, and one of them kind of unfortunate. Uh, it's very very good that we can now just have stories with gay characters in them where them being gay isn't the whole point of the story.
hmm
And at the same time, that means we're gonna get a lot of stories that don't really have any gay themes in them being lauded as the new gay thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that has always happened with anime. Like to call out the thing I just mentioned, when K-On! Came out, everyone was like, "This is super gay," and I mean, kind of, but not really. Like, it's not any more or less gay than, I don't know, fucking Naruto. which is pretty gay, but
Not in the way that some people would wish it was, unfortunately.
like it's not explicit in any way,
Yeah.
and neither is young ladies don't play fighting games.
Mm-hmm. Alas.
Well, maybe we'll be here talking about it next year, or in 2 years, or in 5 years.
Well, we will see. That is a ways away.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like many things now are on pretty slow release schedules. Like
Yeah, no, like, apparently there's been like 2 or 3 volumes of Whisper Me a Love Song out in Japan, and none since last year for us.
exactly. I think the next one we are going to get is like in. Let me look at my list. Apparently, in September we get Volume 9,
Fucking hell, that's way too long.
which is hilarious because Volume. I mean,
We already know what happens in Volume 9 because of the fucking anime.
well, I don't because I stopped watching. But yes, basically yes.
Yeah,
And
no,
the next
I
volume
don't
of Young
blame you.
Ladies Don't Play Fighting Games comes in October.
That's not too bad, actually. I think the
But I
what?
promise you that one will not turn suddenly into romance. So
No.
yeah. Anyway,
Uh,
good one. Read it.
yes. So yeah. That is our list. Let me just pull up the full list. Give me a sec to find where I stashed it in here. There we are. So this is all the entries we discussed this time around. Feel free to give that whole list a look. I know Green Yuri got its tail partially cut off because it's a very long title, to be fair. But yes, overall, not a bad list. Some
No, I think most of the things were really good.
Yes. Out of all the ones on this list, like, I think the best one might have been The Summer You Were There, but that one's also the hardest one to recommend.
Yeah, if you're not up for that, read I Married My Female Friend. That one
Yeah,
was also really good.
that one was really good. That one was very nice. Yeah. Also, most of these, the ones on this list were actually fairly chaste. Oh, actually, there's only like
Well,
3 that
except-
had like actual like.
Except for the one that was all about tits, but
I said most, not all of them. There's only like
yeah.
3 that like have actual like sex in them. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, only
I
3 of
always
them
find
actually
it
have
funny
like
to
actual
think of-
sex scenes in them.
Yeah, I always find it funny to think of manga in a context of not safe for work because you probably shouldn't be reading any manga at work, but especially
Yeah.
not the ones with boobies in them.
Regardless, we are probably going to compile our list for next year at some point in the next at some point soon. Just don't expect like we're probably not going to delve too deep into like the Toxic Fury or the Doom Fury holes outside of like some of the lighter touches. Like, for example, not going to touch Citrus or My Girlfriend Isn't Here Today. Those ones, too toxic.
Nope.
Not fucking with those.
Not happening.
That is like some soap opera shit that neither of us wants to deal with.
Yeah.
Re-
Isn't My Girlfriend Isn't Here Today from the same author as
Oh God. Oh, who's the author of that one?
I have to look it up.
I'm gonna look it up right now. I have to know this. Let's see, who's the fucking author of this one? The author is Kyoko Iwami, who also did Transparent Light Blue. God damn it! God fucking damn it!
Yeah. See?
Some authors
You know,
clearly have
that explains
signatures.
a lot.
Oh,
That explains
fuck.
a lot, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. It really does.
Should have known that before. Oh well.
But yes,
I mean, honestly, it was fun. It was just bad.
yes. Yes, it was it was very toxic.
Yeah. Anyway, we shouldn't.
Let's not dally.
Yeah.
But yes, anyways, thank you all for watching. Hopefully you will give us a follow here on Twitch and give us a like, subscribe, comment, and bell icon. Click on YouTube. With all that said, have a nice day, and hope to see you again on Sunday. Later.
Bye bye.